Hey everybody, how's it going? Nice to talk to everybody. We are pumped to give you another community update here. There's been a lot of action in many ways with the Scale project. Stan, unfortunately, has had his travel delayed, but I am here in Lisbon with some very important people on the Scale core dev team. So guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, hello guys. Yeah, my name is Artem. Yeah, currently and all the years I'm working on smart contracts, and as you know, we created a huge smart contracts called like DApps, really DApps, like Scale Manager and AMA, which make our Scale network truly decentralized. And we are continue working on it, and we wanted to introduce a lot of cool stuff which going in V2 release.
Yeah, so a lot of the magic that you see in Scale in terms of any of the smart contract work, Artem has touched it. Really phenomenal engineer, and let me tell you, he has been grinding getting V2 ready. So good job, Artem.
Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Dima, and I'm working in Scale for core for our Scale G, for our S chain inside. All this engineering stuff, and not only Scale G, but also some cool stuff like file storage, like our block explorer, and other many cool stuff. Yeah, and we have prepared new cool stuff in a new release V2. So we'll tell you a little bit later.
I think a lot of you have probably seen some of Dima's videos. So he's kind of this just like secret agent who's coming in, building really cool stuff on different parts of the product. It's almost like a special ops person. So file storage coming in on the block explorer, and some really cool stuff on some new features, which we'll talk about in a second in V2. All right, Dima.
Yeah, hi. I'm also Dima, and I'm working on the Scale node components, which include Scale admin that operates node rotation, DTG stuff, and runs S chains on the nodes, and also working on some CLI tools for validators, and on Scale Proxy that balances the JSON RPC requests to Scale nodes.
Awesome. So anybody who's staked, also anybody who has worked or functioned as a validator, you're touching D1's code. So awesome. All right. Hey, one other part of the community update, one reason we've got these amazing people here is the community's had a lot of questions too about the team, and is the team safe? And we're all here in Lisbon, and just also wanted to say, with heavy hearts that it's been a really emotional time, but we've got a lot of the team members here, and everybody's doing really good. Okay, awesome. All right, so V2, right? Let's talk a little bit about that. So want to go a little deeper into some slides. All right, everybody, going deeper into V2. Getting a lot of questions about V2. There are obviously some phenomenal features, but one of the biggest pieces is interoperability and cohesion between Scale chains. For those of you that don't know, Scale is not just a network of one chain. It's a network of many blockchains. And the way these blockchains are brought together is in a cryptographic manner via the Ethereum mainnet. And so a lot of the contracts that Artem was talking about earlier that he had been working on, a lot of the containerization that comes from work that D1 has done, and the file storage pieces obviously come together through the work that D3 has done. So we look here at these chains. We have these many fast chains, right, that are collusion resistant because of the random assignments of these nodes, the rotation of nodes, and also the incentive structures, which makes many fast blockchains that gives the network an uncapped potential to execute transactions. Okay, it's not limited as monolithic layer ones are limited. But as you can see here, I have an image of many nodes that are supporting many chains. Now, this is a potential major issue if you have many chains that can't speak to each other. Okay, you lose composability, you lose interoperability. And the worst part is if you put a user on an island, that user, when they go from chain to mainnet, has to pay fees every time. So let's say I'm at a play to earn game on Scale and I want to go to an exchange. Well, to swap on Scale, well, I'd have to, right now on V1, I'd have to go to the mainnet, pay X amount of gas fees to the Ethereum network, and then pay gas fees to come back and swap those tokens in Scale. And it might still make sense based off the quantity that you're moving around. But if you're moving around small quantities, you don't want to have $50, $100 fees moving in and out of Scale. Okay. And it also just makes things much harder for the user. And so one of the best things about V2 is it takes these many chains that are not connected to each other. They're connected to the mainnet and actually connects them. So I could be on a play to earn game and hop immediately over to an exchange and swap assets. I could move assets directly to that group that they're from a fiat on-ramp. I could hop, using Connext or a swap system and go from another EVM chain to Scale immediately to this hub. And then I could go to a metaverse product and go to an NFT marketplace hub and sell an asset. Go to a decentralized music Dapp and make money here, and then go exchange that out and buy an NFT and go to an NFT marketplace. And so these hubs give coordination to the network. Instead of having many connected chains, we have many connected chains that can also connect to central services at hubs. And we're really excited about these first hubs launching and the partners that are launching them. So we'll get to that later. So SKALE V2 is coming. It's exciting. We're going to dive a little deeper with the team here on some of the details of SKALE V2. All right, so let's go a little deeper into SKALE V2. Let's start with Artem. Artem, could you tell us a little bit about what you're working on and what you've been working on in SKALE V2?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, first of all, you are just listening a pretty good presentation from Jack about the SKALE V2 release. And Jack's talking about connecting chains to chains. And currently I'm working on, and we already in a pretty good test stage, that connecting chain to the chain. And first of all, we are connecting IMA, like connecting, as you know, IMA connecting from the mainnet to our SKALE chain, but we have not earned a connection from chains to chains. And currently, we prepare these connections. And it makes all the transactions much more cheaper, because you do not need to go to mainnet and pay a fee, like hundreds dollar fee to have your funds moving from one SKALE chain to another SKALE chain. You can directly do it in a SKALE chain to SKALE chain way.
So Artem explains this like it's pretty simple stuff, but Artem's a national champion in informatics and really brilliant mathematician. So tell us a little bit about what goes into that type of code, because this is not easy stuff, right?
Yeah, totally. You're right. When we connect in mainnet to SKALE chain, we creating a mainnet as a central hub of connecting to the SKALE chains. But when we are talking about connecting SKALE chains to SKALE chains, we also talking about the tokens created on a one SKALE chain. And to do this connection, we created this SKALE chain as a hub of this kind of tokens. And we allow this kind of tokens to deliver to different SKALE chains. But also there is some kind of nuances that each SKALE chain can have its own hub of tokens. And we need to have ability to exchange this kind of tokens. And all of this creates a pretty complex system, but we are trying to do it as simple as possible for user experience.
Awesome. So yeah, as a user, one of the cool things is there'll be this unified widget where any application on Scale can deploy that widget, or they could obviously deploy their own front end, but that widget is meant to simplify the action for the user to move their assets. And behind the scenes, there's a lot of complexity. And if you think about it, if you're taking an Uber somewhere, if you're taking a Lyft, I mean, when are you ever aware that you need to make, Stripe ping Bank of America, and then Bank of America is going to, send money to Uber's bank? That all happens behind the scenes. It's really simple and easy. Your credit card's connected, and that's what a great Web2 user experience is. And so the goal here is to take that complex math and really hide it while not exposing the user to any security gaps. So I think the team's done a phenomenal job with that. All right, so thanks, Artem. All right, D3, you're doing multi-transaction mode, oracles, updated block explorer. Like, tell us about it.
So in addition to what Artem and Jack said, wanted to present you the new features, not on the contract side, but on the core side, on the chains. So in new release, we will have a new feature that called multi-transaction mode. This feature allows to send multiple transactions from the one user and to make it be handled in one block. So in this mode, you as the user, you can send a lot of transactions, and all these transactions will be maintained and handled in one block, and so on and so on. This will be very helpful for games and for very high loaded application like D application. Yeah, and this feature will allow you to do it the same way as like Ethereum does. Ethereum allows to send transactions with different nonce. And if your transaction will have a high nonce, then it needs to be, then it will wait in a future queue. And all this mechanism of future queue and all this mechanism about handling this transaction is now implemented in SKALE V on this chains. And this is the first cool feature. Yeah.
So just digging in on that a little more. So that's there's a lot of complicated things that Dima just talked about, but what this does, this is actually what we used to call Speedy game mode. So it enables more fluid utilization of applications that really batch messages to the chain. And then the chain is able to parse and sort those messages and know where they should be and how they should be ordered, right?
Yes, totally.
It's really the users don't have to worry. A user doesn't do one thing at a time. The user could be really playing and interacting with a game, and it opens up a new level of user experience.
Yeah, now you do not need to think about nonce. You just need to send transaction, transaction, and this will be okay. So that's the first feature. And the second feature is Oracle. Oracle will present it in a new release, and it will allow you to make requests to this external services, like, for example, to know what is the time right now, so or what is the current price of Ethereum, or gas price, and you can use all this data from the external server right in your decentralized application. This is really cool.
Yeah. So, and if you think about it, what we have is there's a real core feature here that Dima is talking about, but it opens up many other features later because of this Oracle functionality. And SKALE is pretty very well suited just in the natural structure of the way it's built, right? With the threshold encryption and the trusted execution environments. Any comments on just SKALE's architecture enabling the Oracle functionality?
Yeah, right now this Oracle feature will be using in IMA.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit more about this. Yeah, currently during the transactions from SKALE chain to mainnet, on the mainnet side, your transaction will pay for gas. Yeah, all transactions on the mainnet are paid by gas, and you, like a user, need to pay this gas. And during the gas spikes or some other unexpected situations, we need to predict how much the piece would take this transaction. But in current situation, without Oracle, we just have a connection from when we send the message to mainnet, we have also the message to the scale chain that you are not locked and you are able to send these messages. But with the Oracle, we can ask for a gas price on Ethereum and get the gas price in a feed and get the real time, get this information in a real time. And with the gas price, we can totally predict how much you like a user would spend on Ethereum.
So it's really useful for our IMA agent and so on and so on. But what about little bit architecture? So for Oracle will take a request from the user and then broadcast this request to all the nodes, and all the nodes will like handle this information, and after that sign in the results. After that, all this information will be like joined in one, and the user will get a response. So it's like in a few words how it works. Yeah, so
Very
that's
cool.
it. Yeah. And we will also have some updates in Block Explorer, in file storage. You will see this.
Hey, one question. So Block Explorer, there'll be some optimizations. How close are we to getting I know it's coming next, but unified SKALEverse Block Explorer across all the different RPC ports and IP addresses?
You mean?
I think I can
like a fully
answer
indexed
that.
SKALEverse, yeah.
Yeah, so this way Block Explorer is working through Scale Proxy. So it hides all this complexity with the ports and IP addresses. So basically, the Block Explorer getting all information through the proxy, through one URL for one chain.
Okay, so we're going to be able to see that unified view very soon.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Okay, all right, and for those, some of you may recognize Dima from his early days. He was a famous child genius. We've got a smart group of people here.
No, when I was very, very small.
All right, so D1, what's your bet?
Yeah, so from my part for the V2 release, the main thing is scale admin. So we've almost completely changed this component for the V2 release. So we refactored like 90% of the code and scale admin since the previous release. And one of the key things that will be hugely improved now is the node rotation. So as you may know, like in our system, we have these multiple nodes, we have multiple chains randomly distributed across the Scale network. And over the time, the network is changing, like some new nodes coming in, some old nodes leaving the system. And it's really important to be able to to maintain this 16 node chains in these circumstances. So in this release, we've handled all the cases, all more complex cases of node rotation when multiple nodes live in the system at the same time. We've handled the cases where this distributed key generation that happens after each rotation fails because of one of the nodes. So all these edge cases are handled in this release. So node rotation process should be much smoother than before now.
Awesome. Yeah, so Dima is one of our, just longest standing core devs as well. And it's just, I think a world expert in Docker and containerization, but also working all the way into the core of the product with Scale D. So
yeah, so another big thing that do not include it in V2 release, but will be released basically at the same time, is the new Scale Proxy. Scale Proxy is our service which hides all the complexity with multiple endpoints for the Scale chains. So it's basically like Infura, but for our system, which provides you with just 3 links. You have one link for HTTPS access, you have one link for WebSocket access, and you have one link for file storage. So you don't have to carry like this changes of nodes in S-chain or remember ports or anything. So one thing that you need to know is the S-chain name. And
so
that's it.
That makes life a lot easier for developers, right?
Yeah.
What do these changes do to give more, I guess, resiliency or robustness to the network?
So basically, the current version of Scale Proxy that is deployed for all our networks is more like a proof of concept. So it was like our first try in this field, and this this version, Proxy V2, is it has a separate engine for each chain. So now it's more resilient for in case if something will go wrong with any chain, other chains will not be impacted. Also, the performance are hugely improved in this version. So yeah. Also, it comes with the UI where you can easily add your network, your S-chain to MetaMask as a new network, or go to corresponding block explorer.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So this begs the question: when V2? Let's take a look at that right now. Okay, here we are taking a look at the timeline. So as everyone can see here, we're in the first week of March now. We are pretty much at a code final. I think you've heard there's a lot of just new features that have gone into the release that have been pushed into the Scale V2, and one question would just be why. And the main reason why is that the Scale releases, instead of them happening every month or every 6 weeks, each time we do a release, or the community does a release, every validator in the network needs to run test environment nodes. We do weeks of testing and validating on the product. We run audits, we run code competitions. There's a lot that goes into a major release. So what that means is there's just huge point of effort just to push whatever is whatever's batched into that latest release. So the goal for this one was to get everything we could so that when this product launches, it's ready for prime time. And again, Scale is the only multi-chain EVM network that one is not capacity constrained, because the economics enable more and more chains to be added as the network gets overloaded. Two, all of these chains are not in these islands. They're actually in this unified synchronous world where they can talk and communicate and update state with one another, and send NFTs from chain to chain, send tokens from chain to chain. So what this means, early next week, and Artem actually told me he thinks he's going to get this done. The team's going to get this done by Friday, tomorrow. For depending on where you are in the world, it's today or tomorrow, but we're pretty much here. And then it's all just about release staging. So all of the Dapp partners that are stepping up to volunteer, doing kind of more real world QA in addition to the other QA efforts happening, they'll all get access to this system very, very shortly. And they'll start doing their testing. And then we do rollouts, and we start getting these, push out to Rinkeby, push out to the different test environments, and run real simulated real world environments, both on Scale core team run test nets and a test net run by all the validators. There's 48 unique validator orgs running the Scale network. They will be doing tests and running live tests as well. And then we're looking at being ready and complete the first week of April. And we've given a little buffer here so that we have a deadline that says by the second week of April, every node in the network needs to be upgraded. The validators are getting really good at updating nodes, so I think that will happen a lot faster. But we've got a little buffer time to get through the QA. But hey, we're feeling really confident about these timelines and just happy to open it up, and also excited for, this week, the Dapp partners to start testing in, simulated environments, chain-to-chain transfers with hubs. All right, everybody. Hey, for those of you that have listened to this, we appreciate your time and attention. I also want to give a shout out to the community. There's just been phenomenal art and creativity and memes and just effort being put into Twitter. It's unbelievable to see the amount of work and effort that's going into this from just this a broader community perspective. So thank you. And hey, we're here working hard, and we're going to be here as always, getting up early, working late, and we know a lot of you are doing the same thing. So let's keep it going. All right, guys, anything to say before we close?
Yeah, and also I want to say that, like, stand with Ukraine. Yeah, we are all here to support the Ukraine, our motherhood. Yeah.
Yeah, all the stuff was being done with support of our team, with support of our teams that now in Ukraine.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so
we'll post to some. I know a lot of you are eager to support and have been supporting, so we're going to post again some links where you can make contributions and stand with Ukraine. That's what we're doing, and every little bit of help goes a long way, so, and is appreciated. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you. Yeah. Bye-bye.
bye-bye.